Hello there, knaves. How are you today? Are you guys ready for another video? Hey everyone, how's it going today? Thanks for joining me for this special episode about purpose. Today, I wanted to go into a topic that's really I think, a critical issue in sort of a lot of people today. And it's something that I feel like over time has kind of degraded a little bit in value. Um, I'm sure most people notice when you look around and you look at the statistics and whatnot that people are more depressed than they used to be, more anxious, less fulfilled, and less content with where their lives are. And I think a big portion of that stems from a lack of purpose. So I feel like we as a society have kind of grown so much to this point and in our understanding where effectively the actions of the few in the grand scheme of things almost seem meaningless. So you have all these people out and about doing these amazing things, and you're constantly bombarded with that information. YouTube, the news, movies, space, the universe, and all of these ideas together create this kind of whole round idea that effectively everything or most everything that most people do is effectively meaningless. And now, I'm not a Debbie Downer. Hold on. Before you click off this video. And that's really a terrible recipe and realization. Because unfortunately, the reality is that while, yes, I guess on the grand scheme of the universe scale, right, you could argue that, humanity is meaningless or whatever. It's not. The actions that you do and the things that you choose to do absolutely have meaning on your life and within society and within the community and within government and within humanity as a whole. So we want to be careful because effectively we do have an impact on the people around us. And in fact, a very profound impact on the people around us. It's something that I feel like has been lost and kind of has drifted away over time. And when we talk about purpose specifically, right, what we do is infinitely valuable when it comes to our purpose. We are effectively, in my mind, some of the things that we choose to do. And so it's why it's so important to act with purpose. And I've talked about this in other videos. If you act with purpose, it helps to maintain your life's purpose. It's kind of a weird take on it, but if we look at our lives and its meaning as a sum of our thoughts and actions, right? Then every action we make, no matter how big or small, in support of an idea makes it more a part of our life's purpose. In other words, think about it this way. Say you're a good person, right? And that is your purpose. That's what drives you every day, to be a good person. Every day that you do a good thing and you be a good person reinforces that purpose that you live by, that you are a good person and that's who you want to be. And so when you talk about life's purpose, which is the sum of every action you've ever done and every thought you've ever thought and everything you've ever done. The more you act with purpose and with this is what's important to me, the more that becomes what is important in your life and important to the people around you and important as a whole. So that's kind of how you have to look at things. Everything sort of cascades on top of everything else. And that's something about purpose that I feel like is not made readily aware. People think because they're not doing something fantastic that they have no purpose, that they're just there. But that's not how life purpose works. Your life isn't defined by what amazing thing you did, right? It's defined by what you do across the whole of it. And this is where sort of things get a little dicey and whatnot, and where kind of a lot of people have issues separating specific actions from people, right? And so you can have terrible people do amazing things, but amazing people do slightly amazing things all the time. And that's what makes their lives amazing. That's what makes them effectively amazing people. It's not just that they do an amazing thing, it's that they consistently do amazing things. And so, when I think about purpose and life's purpose, and I've done videos on some of these different topics, but when I think about purpose specifically, I can't help but remember this book I read in college recently, actually, a few years ago, called Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl. Over the years, people have said various different things and whatnot, but I think he touches on a very important thing in his book. Now, to understand and to provide context, Viktor Frankl was in an internment camp during the Holocaust and was a prisoner there. And so he was a doctor, and so he was in charge of, they basically had him taking care of the prisoners to keep them alive. He observed these people and came to the conclusion, at least one of the conclusions, that every choice you make, every moment has meaning, no matter how terrible it becomes, because you have the choice. No matter what, you always have the choice. He also talked about how you viewed your situation directly affected your ability to survive in it. Now he gets into hot water because people say, "Well, you can't say that the people who died there died because they didn't believe it." That's not what he was saying. What he was getting at least from my perspective, was that having a positive viewpoint and outlook on having a belief in a future, or that what's happening has some kind of meaning or purpose, makes the outcome better, right? And it's sort of an idea. It's and you could argue different things, but I think there is a very important message in that. And if you ever get a chance, read the book, because he wrote it while he was a prisoner. I think he was writing them on napkins and whatnot, or something like that. It's a crazy book to read, but it's very interesting because he goes into detail about what these prisoners in these internment camps went through and how their mentality affected their ability to deal with it. He touched on the topic of how those who lost hope died faster. Now, I don't know if that's an objective fact or not, and we can go into all that, but I think there's definitely a lot of evidence in the world that we know of that being hopeless and depressed leads to worse outcomes, particularly one of them being life expectancy. When people become depressed and lose their belief in their ability to live or that there will be a future, well, more often than not, they don't have one. And this kind of touches back into what, I was talking about, was that this problem, in my opinion, from what I've seen, is pervasive right now. There are lots of people that don't have hope, that are concerned, that are mortally concerned with their futures. I know I'm one of them. And I think it's more so than it used to be because people, as we've kind of grown our understanding of how things work and how big everything is and this and that, we've sort of diminished the value of the individual inadvertently. And it's even worse when you start looking at things like social media, for example, where people are people don't matter anymore. Like it's how many likes you get or how many clicks you get or how much people share your stuff. It's the same way with YouTube, for example. But what happens is you have this recipe that sort of diminishes purpose. And purpose is important. It's the only way you can have balance in your life is to have purpose. You know, balance is crucial. Your life has to be balanced out, right? Purpose sort of holds everything together. Your struggles don't matter if you don't have purpose behind them. If there's not a meaning in what's happening to you, then it's difficult to be optimistic or hopeful about the future when you accept the fact that terrible things are happening to you just because. And they may always happen that way. It's why it's great to have a firm grasp on your purpose and have a firm balance because that stuff matters in the end. Things that you know how to do, things that you learn, and things that you consistently work at might change your whole life outcome. That's really all I have in this video. I hope I didn't bum anybody out. That wasn't the goal. The goal here was to get people thinking about this because purpose is crucial. Purpose is what allows people to work longer and harder at things and allows them to keep an optimistic viewpoint for the future. Thank you so much for watching. Please like this video and subscribe it. And hopefully I'll have another episode up for you soon. As always, have a good day. And always, always, always live with purpose. It has to be something that really you can really latch onto and hold on to. You have to be able, when you're talking about purpose, to stick to what you believe in. You have to be careful.